Good evening and welcome to the BBC News at 6. The former head of the Post Office, Paula Vennells, is handing back her CBE as a result of the fallout from the faulty IT scandal, which saw hundreds of sub-postmasters wrongly prosecuted. After an ITV drama about the scandal last week, more than 1 million people have signed a petition calling for her honour to be revoked. Meanwhile, the government is considering ways to speed up justice for the hundreds of post office branch managers who were affected. Here's our deputy political editor, Vicky Young.
It was an insult which added to their injury.
He is on this list.
A moment depicted in the recent drama about the post office scandal.
Paula Vennells has got the CBE.
Joking.
Services to the post office.
Today it was all very different for Paula Vennells as she caved to mounting public pressure to hand back the honour. She'd been chief executive of the post office from 2012 to 2019, a period when serious issues emerged about the Horizon software. In her statement today, she said, "I have listened and I confirm that I return my CBE with immediate effect. I am truly sorry for the devastation caused to the sub-postmasters and their families, whose lives were torn apart by being wrongly accused and wrongly prosecuted as a result of the Horizon system."
It must be a bug. It must be a computer bug.
Lee Castleton's story was one of those featured in the drama series. He went bankrupt after being falsely accused of stealing £25,000. So what does he make of Paula Vennells' decision?
It kind of was a kick in the teeth back then. Now it's full circle, I suppose, and we've got to a point where now it's acceptable that the moral decision to hand it back is the right decision.
The renewed publicity has made dealing with hundreds of wrongful convictions a priority for MPs.
We can do something good, Mr. Speaker, together, if the Justice Secretary would bring a simple bill to quash all 800 immediately.
The suggestion he made is receiving active consideration. I expect to be able to make further announcements shortly.
In normal circumstances, it would be almost unthinkable for Parliament to get involved in the quashing of criminal convictions. It would be seen as an attack on the independence of the courts. But ministers accept this is an unprecedented situation, and that's why they're considering such a radical move. In 2021, there were joyful scenes when the Court of Appeal cleared 39 former postmasters and mistresses who'd been wrongly convicted. Hundreds more hope they'll be able to celebrate soon. Vicky Young, BBC News, Westminster.
Well, ITV says their drama and documentary on the post office scandal has now been viewed nearly 15 million times. Navtej Johal has been to Ibstock, home to one of the postmasters featured in the show, to assess the impact that the programme has had.
So, how much did you know about this story before watching the television show?
Well, I knew a little bit.
Teresa is one of the millions of people who've been watching and been shocked by the TV drama Mr. Bates versus the Post Office.
Yeah, of course it's the power of telly to reach people like me that sit at 9 o'clock, putting the feet up and think, oh, I'll watch that. And I just think they should get as much back possible, and not always monetary. Doesn't heal wounds what they've gone through. Anyway, that's it. Sorry.
I can say it's really affected you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, terribly.
The village of Ibstock is home to the couple Michael and Susan Rudkin. She was wrongly convicted of stealing thousands of pounds from the post office while her husband lost his job. Theirs is one of the many shocking stories featured in the ITV show.
My poor wife is now a convicted criminal.
The irony of this, it's taken a programme to blow this all open, and the public have really got to grips with what has transpired as a result of this dramatisation, when people have been banging this drum for 20 years.
There is a podcast about this scandal. There's a book that's been written about it. There have been documentaries and news articles, but it's a television drama on a terrestrial channel, the kind of thing that some people might consider quite old-fashioned, which has finally captured the public's imagination when it comes to this story.
It's easier to watch. You can understand it better if you're not very academic, so I think it's just a way to get to the millions instead of getting to the hundreds or thousands with podcasts and newspapers.
Has it changed the way you feel about this scandal?
Yes, definitely. People have died through it as well. I saw the part where somebody committed suicide. I think it's shocking.
This scandal will now be followed much more closely by many more people. Navtej Johal, BBC News, Ipsdock in Leicestershire.
Our business correspondent Emma Simpson is with me now. This story started decades ago, but it's certainly moved very quickly in the last few days.
Yes, and certainly for Paula Vennells. But of course, many people have been asking why on earth it was a good idea to give her an honour in the first place. The gong's going, but not the questions. That said, we may not hear again from Paula Vennells until she appears before the public inquiry after Easter. So where will the attention focus next? Well, Fujitsu is going to be in the spotlight. The Business Select Committee has invited the company to answer questions next week. And I can't recall hearing from an executive from the company over the years because they have escaped a lot of scrutiny. Why was Horizon allowed to go live in the first place when there were problems? Did it put profits before people? These are the sorts of questions. But also, we have the public inquiry starting again this week as they slowly work up the chain of command to try to find out how this scandal happened.
Emma Simpson.